PhD and welcoming Lucian.
Thank you, Jenny. That's very nice. Thank you. That's a very nice introduction. It's very appropriate that we should meet in Sandy Spring in the middle of Black History Month. There's such an extraordinary heritage and legacy here of people seeking freedom, escaping on the Underground Railroad. Robin talked about the Quaker community here, people who burned with a passion for social justice, expressed themselves quietly, but with great commitment. We have a tremendous history here in Montgomery County. In 1937, Thurgood Marshall, the great civil rights attorney and ultimately Supreme Court Justice, took up the case of William Gibbs, and it was the first time in the United States that ultimately it was settled that equal pay for teachers was enshrined as a court precedent. And so Montgomery County has a lot to be proud of, and we should be proud of our first African-American executive, Ike Leggett. It's very interesting as I listen to the dialogue here, and Jenny, you've done a terrific job tonight. You've got great presence and poise, and Mimi Hassanein, my great friend, thank you both for putting this together. And thank you both. And I'm sorry for breaking in to mention that term limits do apply to the county executive as well, but it is an important point because for those who've talked a lot about term limits tonight, if you think about it, if Ike Leggett were on the ballot, don't you think he'd be reelected? I do. Mm-hmm. And I think most of us do. So the idea that the voters somehow said, you know, we live here, we send our kids to school here, but we're just miserable here and we're voting for term limits because everything's gone wrong. I don't think that's what the voters feel. Of course, we must be more efficient. Of course, we must attract more private sector growth and dynamism. I agree with most of what's been said here tonight. I disagree mostly with Robin, but I did agree with most of what the Democrats have said here tonight. And I understand that educated voters, like those of you who are spending 70 minutes listening to us, have a tough choice ahead of you. I hope that you will think hard about whose values best reflect yours, about who has the best capability to balance the many competing needs that the next county executive is going to face. We had a tremendous voter forum this morning at the Bethesda Chevy Chase Democratic Breakfast Club, and there was a complete consensus. Nobody wants higher taxes. And everybody wants more spending on affordable housing. Everybody wants more spending on transportation. Everybody wants more spending to reduce class size. Everybody wants more spending for our elderly. So these are the challenges of being an elected official, and it is a high honor because the meaning of life is service to others. I was very grateful for Jenny's nice introduction. None of you need to call me Dr. Leventhal. I got my PhD in public policy in December. If I'm elected, I'll be the first county executive with a PhD. That's pretty cool. But my physician father, Dr. Carl Leventhal, MD, is enormously proud of me. He's my strongest supporter and my fiercest critic, and he's made it very clear that I may not call myself doctor. My mother was a physician. My mother was a distinguished clinical researcher, a pediatric oncologist. She pioneered research in children's cancer. She founded the Children's Cancer Research Institute at Johns Hopkins. She passed away in 1994. My son Chico was born in 1998. In the year 1999, he contracted Wilms tumor in his kidney. My mother never met him, but he was treated at the Johns Hopkins Children's Cancer Research Center that she founded. His life was saved by the physicians and physician's assistants and nurses who she recruited and trained. He was treated with the therapies that she pioneered. So although she was not there physically, she was literally there. And although I don't have the skills myself to be a physician, I've devoted my career to public health. I've devoted my career to looking out for those who most need a government on their side. 70,000 patients in Montgomery County got to see a doctor in 2017 who don't have health insurance because of the Montgomery Cares network of community clinics that I founded. And if you want a county executive who is deeply steeped in public health policy and who will be present in Annapolis, working with other jurisdictions, with our governor, with our Annapolis leadership, to make sure we maintain universal access to care and move us towards single-payer health insurance, you really should vote for George Leventhal. If you want a county executive who cares deeply about equity and social justice, and will make sure that every child in every high school cluster in this county has an equal opportunity to succeed and a bright future, and that we distribute students more fairly and provide equal access to academic rigor to everyone in this county, you really ought to vote for George Leventhal. And if you want a county executive who believes in the public campaign finance experiment in democracy that we are engaged in to minimize the influence of big money and maximize the ability of ordinary middle-class constituents to be heard and paid attention to, then I hope you'll contribute to George Leventhal, because I need to raise more money. And I'm proud to be in this system. And I hope this experiment in democracy is successful. And when you're talking to candidates for county executive, you should ask them, are you taking money the old way up to $6,000 a person? Is there anyone in this room who can contribute, David Blair, raise your hand, $6,000 to a candidate? None of us can afford that, except just a few of us. So that is not representative of the way most people want to participate. So I'm proud to be in the public finance system. 3 Democrats are in it, 3 Democrats are not. That's an important question for you to ask. So, look, we will all tell you many of the same things. I'm proud of my record as well. I've been a councilman for 16 years. I have the most experience in county government of anyone who's running for this office. I was the initial sponsor of the local small business reserve. We do have a very strong local purchasing component to our procurement in this county. 20% of contracts are supposed to be awarded to Montgomery County local small businesses. That's very important for minority businesses, female and disabled-owned businesses. Of course, of the hundreds of millions of dollars that we award to vendors, we should keep as much as possible here in the county. And if I'm elected, I will strengthen our procurement. I will instill a culture of customer service because I believe so strongly in the value of government to solve your problem, to listen to you, to respond to your phone call, to make a satisfactory effort to address your needs. And I will inspire our workforce to make sure that when you contact Montgomery County government, it's a pleasure. And it should be that way whether you're a big investor seeking to bring hundreds of jobs here, or whether you're a single mom seeking social benefits for her children. Everyone is entitled to courtesy and dignity. And when I think about Ike Leggett's legacy, many of us have simultaneously said that the government isn't working and people are dissatisfied, and we want to continue Ike Leggett's legacy. That's a neat trick. The greatest piece of Ike Leggett's legacy is his ability to make sure that everyone feels heard and represented. And that's the legacy that I want to continue and that I've always stood for. That Montgomery County is a place that treats everyone with courtesy and dignity, no matter where you were born, no matter what language you speak at home, no matter what faith tradition you worship in, no matter what you look like, no matter who you love. Every one of us has this in common. We chose this place to be our home, this beautiful community, Montgomery County, Maryland. We've heard a lot of complaints tonight about how things are going wrong, and it's not perfect. No place is perfect. But I'm 55 years old. I've lived in Montgomery County for 45 years. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. And we can do better. And we can take it to the next level. I agree with much of what the Democrats have said. They're very good ideas put here on the table. But I'm proud of the work that I've done to help people, to make their lives better, to provide access to health care, to house our homeless population, to look out for those with disabilities. To paraphrase Hubert Humphrey, those in the dawn of life, the children, those in the twilight of life, the elderly, and those in the shadow of life, the disabled. Government should look out first for those who most need a government on their side. I've been chairman of the Health and Human Services Committee for 16 years. Of course, I understand that we can't achieve our equity and social justice goals without a healthy and thriving economy. Don't let any politician tell you that this is a terrible place to do business. If this was a terrible place to do business, Amazon wouldn't have put us on their short list. Can we do better? Yes. Do we need to be more welcoming for business? Yes. Do we need to cut through red tape and cut the energy tax and find ways to be more responsive and business friendly? Yes, I want to do those things. I hope you'll hire me for this job. I'm highly qualified. And I care deeply about this great community, and I want to work for you. I want to continue my work for you as your next Montgomery County executive. I'm George Leventhal. Thank you very much.
Oh, what a great